Everyone knew at the beginning of the NBA season that the Oklahoma City Thunder would be really, really good. And then they start the season at 24 and 1, and these expectations for the Thunder just skyrocket. We start having conversations about could they be this iconic team that wins 74 games in a season? And after that, things just kind of fell apart a little bit there for a while, and we just are not that team this year. And I would say for a couple of different reasons that I'll talk about. But we're still 36 and 8. We're on pace to win 67 games, and we still have this elite point differential of positive 13.4, which is more than double the second place team in the West, the Houston Rockets, who are at a plus 6.4. This season hasn't been perfect and clean. And it just feels like we've had some really high highs and a few low lows as well throughout the season. But we're at the halfway mark, and just a little past the halfway mark. And I want to talk about what I've actually learned about this Thunder team, the good, the weird, and of course the frustrating. And I want to talk about why I still think we should still be the heavy favorites to win the NBA championship. Hello, my name is Nathan, and this is Thunder Up Talk. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. So, the first thing that I've just absolutely learned about this season, by far the most important talking point of this entire video, is that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is our one constant for a lot of different reasons. So, just for starters, of the 44 games, he's played 41 of the 44 games. That's a big deal because this team has struggled with the injury bug. We've had so many injuries so far this season, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the video. But he's just continued to improve. I mean, it's insane that this MVP that we have has continued to improve. He's been far more efficient just across the board, shooting the basketball from three and from the field. His consistency, he's, now at 114 games of 20 plus points, which is just mind blowing. That's absolutely insane. He's a better leader. Not to say that he was ever a bad leader, but I point to even the game that they played today. They played the Cavs. Shea went 5 for 5 from the field to start the game. He was completely on fire, had complete control, doing whatever he wanted to do. And there were a couple times where he created, he drew in the defense. I think he could have shot the ball 2 or 3 times and probably ended the quarter with, I don't know, close to 20 points. But he was actively trying to get his teammates involved. So he passed it out to, I think it was Alex Caruso. It really felt like he was trying to get him rolling. And Alex went 0 for 3 from the field. But, as a leader, I appreciate what he was trying to do. We were still winning. He still had control of the game, and he was just trying to get teammates involved. He's a better man than me because I'd probably keep firing them up if I was shooting like he has been shooting all season. But he has a big picture view, and, he is just so great to have on this team. And when everything has fluctuated, different players playing in the starting lineups, he has been our one constant. Um, I think we take him for granted as Thunder fans a little bit. Um, NBA fans of for sure take this guy for granted. We're gonna look up someday and be like, wow, he was one of the top 10 to 15 greatest players that have ever played this game. Um, the second thing that I want to talk about that I've learned is that AJ Mitchell is a real piece to the puzzle when it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. He started out super hot. I think the first, handful of games, maybe even 10, he was averaging 18 points a game. That has come down, but he's still averaging 14 points a game. It's the fourth most points per game on the Thunder. And as a second year guy, it's just incredible what he's doing. It's not like it's just this young guy that's averaging 14 points on a terrible team. He has to pick and choose when he's shooting. Because he doesn't just get to shoot 20 shots whenever he wants throughout the game. Um, he has the trust of the coaching staff, of course, and of his teammates, and I just love the fact that he is another playmaker. He loves to drive and pass out, and of course, he likes to drive and finish around the rim. He's fairly efficient. He's shooting 48% from the field, which for to me is great for such a small guy and just his second year. Um, and he doesn't let up. He doesn't give up. And I truly think that he's going to have some pretty big moments, big games throughout the playoffs for this Thunder team. And he also has just been very constant and consistent. He's one of the few players that have played 80% or more of the games so far this season. The third thing that we've learned so far is that J Dub, Jalen Williams, his season has just been weird. He missed several games to start the season, and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And it felt like I think most Thunder fans, even Thunder media, kind of expected him to be ready closer to the season. Maybe he'd missed just, a few games, but really he missed quite a few at the beginning of the season. And then he comes back and he just doesn't look like J-Dub. He doesn't look like the all NBA player that we're used to. Um, One big thing with the wrist, he's just shooting a lot less threes, which definitely doesn't help this team because he is, one of our best 3-point shooters. And, he's a volume guy. He shot quite a few for this team. And for a team that struggles from three, uh, that definitely hurt us. So seeing him not catch and shoot as many of those threes was kind of weird. And, he'd just be up and down. He'd have a game where he scored 8 points or 13 points and it wasn't super efficient. Then he'd have 20 points and look closer to the Jalen Williams that we're used to. But nonetheless, we could always rely on his defense, and his playmaking has been something that I feel like has gotten better this season as well, significantly. When he doesn't have it going on, it feels like he is willing to drive and dish it out and really just contribute to the team any way he can. So it felt like, okay, he is finally coming back, especially these last kind of handful of games. And then he hurts his hamstring. And so we're now at a point where he's going to be out at least a couple more weeks now. And, you just hate seeing that for Jalen Williams. He struggled and he tried and worked so hard to get back from the wrist stuff. Um, and it felt like he was on the verge of getting closer and closer and closer to what we're used to seeing, and then he hurts his hamstring. So I know he'll come back and be fine. And really, the big picture of this whole team is just to be healthy at the end of the season. Um, so really, that's the main thing that we need for Jalen for sure. Um, the fourth thing that I feel like I've learned is just that Chet truly is special. I mean, truly, truly special. He, especially when we're talking about the defensive side of the ball, of course, he is the second best rim protector in the entire NBA. I think we can all agree that it's probably Wemby. But after Wemby, it's Chet. I mean, he is just elite at blocking the ball and just as important, guys coming in and changing their shot when they come into the lane. So, he is still developing offensively, but I think he's grown there too. He has been far more aggressive, especially in first quarters, and I love watching him be an aggressive Chet. And if he's got someone small on him, almost every time now he wants the ball. And I think our guys do a decent job of getting him the ball when he's got someone switched on him, and he attacks. And I love seeing that. And I think he'll only get better and better and better in that area as well. Um, and Chet should absolutely be an all-star. I'm just going to say that. Rudy Gobert was an all-star, and he had half the offensive game that Chet has. So, I've heard some things about like, well, he just doesn't have the numbers. Chet is averaging 18 points a game, a couple of blocks, 9 rebounds, and is an elite defender. Rudy Gobert got in a few times on far less of a resume. And oh, by the way, let me just point this out. The Thunder are winning at an 81% clip. So in the history of the NBA, teams that base essentially are winning at 80% or winning 80% of their games, almost every time that team has two all-stars. So Chet should absolutely be an all-star, and that's something that I've learned this year too. And if he isn't, uh, I mean, it's completely unfair to Chet. All right, the fifth thing that I've learned about the Thunder this year is the West reality check. So at the beginning of the season, I thought really the Thunder had to be worried about the Nuggets and the Rockets. I'm pretty convinced now, and again, the Rockets can kind of turn things around, but them not having a point guard, KD is, in advanced years. He's still playing great, especially for his age. He's playing so good. Shingun is good, but I just don't feel like they have that guy that strikes fear into our hearts. I'm not too concerned about the Rockets this season. Um, Now the Spurs, they are now 3-1 against us. They do scare me a little bit. It felt like, they were the kryptonite to our team. Um, they're definitely legit, and I personally did not expect them to be nearly that good. Wemby was dominant in a lot of ways, especially defensively. I can't stress that enough. He just changed everything that we did for three of the four games. Um, but at the end of the day, even with the Spurs, kind of, dominating us in the regular season, I am still by far more concerned about the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic as long as he comes back from injury and is normal. They've been there, they've done it. Uh, you know, Joker took us to 7 games, and I feel like this year's team is much better. So, especially with all their guys playing so well, Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon have been great so far this season. I know Aaron Gordon has also struggled with injury, but if that team is healthy, I fear them a lot more than the Spurs because I just don't see the Spurs kind of making that huge jump in the playoffs after just one season. Next season, I think they may be the ones to worry about the most, but I just think championship and playoff experience matters a ton. And even though the Spurs, they took advantage of the games that they had against us, I don't see that in the playoffs. The uh, the other thing, the sixth thing that I've learned is just how injuries have shaped this season for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I truly believe that if we were healthy, we could have been competing or kind of getting close to the 70 plus win season. But when you look at things, it's crazy how many injuries we've had. So there have only been four guys on our team who have played 80% or more of the games this season. Those guys are Shea, Kaysen, AJ, and Chet. Um, so all the other guys have played less than 80% of the games this season. To me, that's just kind of a crazy stat just to kind of show that there just hasn't been any continuity, any rhythm, any consistency with this team at all. Especially when you consider that Jalen Williams has missed so much, our second best player, and that iHeart has missed a ton of games as well this season. Arguably our probably our fourth best player. I think our fourth most important player. Um, and we've just been judging this team like they've been fully healthy, and I think that's something that has not been fair for this team, and we just haven't been close to healthy. We and again, I kind of talked about this earlier on in the video, but our number one goal has just got to be let's get all these guys ready and healthy for the season or for the real season for the playoffs. Um, if this Thunder team is healthy, they are still the best team in the NBA, and I don't think it's close. I think we may still go to 7 games against some of these, probably the Nuggets, but I still think they should be heavy, heavy favorites. They have depth, they have elite defense, the best defense in the NBA, the best net rating in the NBA, and it's again not even close. It's doubling the second best net rating. Um, And they just have this two-way dominance with Shea, who is elite, elite, elite offensively and still very, very good defensively. So, again, this season has not been perfect, but that's honestly why I still believe in them. We are still on pace to win 67 games with all of these injuries and everything that we've gone through. And, this team isn't all time perfect, but they are still elite and very, very special. That's all I've got for today. I just want to say thanks again for watching this video. My name is Nathan, and have a great day. Thunder up.